The Diseasel is the 21st episode of the second series. It's based on the story of the same name from the Railway series book Mainline Engines, and it introduces us to Bill and Ben the Tank Engine twins and Boko the Diesel, three other fan favourites among the Thomas community. Bill and Ben are tank engine twins who each have 4 wheels, a small funnel, a tiny chimney and small cab. They work at a China clay quarry and their job is to take it in trucks along the main line for engines and ships. The clay is used to make many things like pottery, paper and paint, for example. One morning the twins arrange some trucks and leave to pick up more, but they are surprised to find they have disappeared when they return. Their drivers notice a patch of oil on the tracks and suspect that a diesel is responsible for taking the trucks. This here and there says Diseasel. The twins remember a notice in their shed saying coughs and sneezels spread diseasels, and they argue over who is responsible. The drivers intervene and make a plan to get the trucks back, which involves removing the twins' nameplates and making them identical, as the diesel is unaware that they are twins. The twins find the trucks in a yard with a large green diesel in front. Ben hides behind with Bill going forward to demand the trucks back. The diesel claims the trucks are his and tries to shoo Bill away, but Bill reverses behind the trucks and Ben rides forward, surprising the diesel, thinking that it is the same engine. This goes on for a while, causing the diesel to get dizzy. The twins then reveal themselves to him. Edward arrives at the scene and asks what Bill and Ben are doing. They claim that the diesel stole their trucks, but Edward scolds them for their rudeness. The twins apologise and the diesel forgives them. He introduces himself as Boko and explains that he got his trucks mixed up with the twins'. Edward then sends the twins to take their lot back once they pick up Boko's trucks in exchange for theirs. After they leave, Edward tells Boko that they do not mean any harm, but they can be maddening at times. A statement Boko wholeheartedly agrees with. The episode manages to introduce us to 3 new characters rather than just 1 or 2 this time around. Starting with Bill and Ben, the yellow-saddled tank engine twins belonging to the Sodor China Clay Company. They are Sodor's most mischievous tank engines, who have great fun in teasing and playing jokes on other engines on the railway. They enjoy attention and love taking visitors and being photographed. They tend to work together, like most twins, but even this youthful pair can have their arguments among themselves and can squabble with one another, particularly about whose fault one of their follies was.
You had a cough in your smoke box yesterday. It's your fault the Diseasel came. It isn't, it is. Stop arguing, you two.
They are highly prone to playing tricks and being cheeky. There is no real harm in them, but even Edward admits that they are maddening at times. Bill appears to be the quicker-witted leader, while Ben seems to be the follower of the pair. Bill and Ben are based on the Bagnell 040 tank engines, Alfred and Judy, who can be seen every now and then on heritage railways and on the main railways. And I even got a glimpse of them crossing underneath the Coronation Bridge in Bristol. Even though I can't really remember when my photographs are of them, it was quite an amazing sight to see. It was quite awesome to see the real life Bill and Ben, and it's amazing that the two are still preserved to this day. And we get our 3rd diesel for this series, Boko, a green mixed traffic engine diesel, who primarily works on Edward's branch line and occasionally the main line. He is a tame diesel engine who is sensible, kind, and has a decent sense of humour. He is also very disciplined, as seen as he stops Bill and Ben from their pranks. Upon his arrival, he was unfortunate enough to be set upon by the mischievous Bill and Ben when they pretend to be one engine and nearly make his eyes pop out. Boko is now wise to the tank engine twins' pranks, though he still somewhat humours them to a point. He is also good friends with Bill, Ben, Edward and Doug. He is a true friend and is often willing to stick up for the underdog. Boko is firm but fair and friendly in his nature, not afraid to speak his mind. And this character is based off of the British Rail Class 28 Cobalt diesel electric trains. And I don't know for myself because I haven't seen them in real life, but I'm pretty sure that all of these diesels were scrapped, as I have seen none of them in any heritage lines. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just don't think there are any left in the world. And like with Daisy, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Boko was going to be a bad diesel just like Devious Diesel was, since the diesel engines on Sodor didn't exactly have a good record when they arrived at first. Whereas Diesel was the bad diesel, Daisy was somewhere in the middle between good and bad, and Boko was the good one at heart. He was the first friendly diesel to arrive on the island, and that makes him one of a kind at this point. Obviously we would be introduced to more friendly diesels as the show went on, but Boko was the first, and that makes him special in most Thomas fans' hearts. And one goof that sticks out to everybody's mind in this episode is the fact that when the twins' driver says that they'll take away the engine's names and numbers, even though Bill and Ben don't actually have numbers in the TV series, whereas they did in the original Railway series. Although it was shown in some behind the scenes pictures that Bill and Ben were intended to have their numbers painted on them, but for some reason it was dropped at the last minute, and yet they still kept the original line how it was in the TV episode. This is an episode that sticks in my mind a lot when rewatching Thomas the Tank Engine, because it was one of the many episodes that I used to watch multiple times over and over again on VHS tapes, and I still rewatch a ton of times on the DVD. I guess it was because it was my introduction to Bill and Ben and I loved their mischievousness. They're two of my favourite characters in the TV series, especially with how they pronounce Diesel wrong, as well as doing the mitts on the whole coughs and sneezes spread diseases line.
Coughs and sneezels spread diseasel.
That's just stuck with me and my parents for so many years that we actually do say it in the exact same way Bill and Ben did. It's just one of those things that stuck with us and never left us. And once again, Ringo Starr gives a superb performance for this episode, especially when he does Bill, Ben and Boko's voices. I especially love Bill and Boko's first interaction with each other. The way Ringo delivers his lines are just flawless to me.
The Diesel looked up. Do you mind? Yes, said Bill, I do. I want my trucks, please. These are mine, said the Diesel. Go away. Bill pretended to be frightened. You're a big bully, he whimpered. You'll be sorry.
Another one of his best performances in my opinion. And I love how it shows how Edward is the only engine on Sodor who can keep Bill and Ben in order, since it's been implied that other engines don't really get on well with Bill and Ben and aren't used to their pranks, whereas Edward is most likely used to them and knows how to keep them in line. That's just another bit of great character development for Edward. And that scene when Bill and Ben are playing their trick on Boko, making him believe that it's just one engine somehow switching the same tracks, is still one of the most hilarious and iconic moments for the TV series for me. I especially love that hilariously fast-paced little ditty that O Donnell and Jr. Campbell composed for the scene. It just sounds so bouncy and fun that I can't help to hum into it and dance into it every now and then. It's just one of those mini tunes from Mike and Jr. that doesn't seem to get as much attention as most of the others do, but over time it's gotten more recognised throughout the years, and it makes it one of their most iconic tunes in my opinion. And all this is why the Diseasel has always been one of my favourite episodes for Series 2, and always will be. If you haven't seen this episode for a while, check it out for yourselves and see what you've been missing out on. You'll be introduced to Bill, Ben and Boko, you'll get a lot of great laughs out of this episode, and it's just all around entertaining to watch. It's easily among one of the best.